That's right, he played the President of the United States. Now he is taking on another powerful role.
Yes, and this time it's on Broadway from the play The Inheritance. Please welcome the former President of the United States, Tony Goldwyn! But Scandal was a docu-series, right?
Docu-series, yes.
It was, right? That's what I thought. I knew that. I was like, wait, what? That's why I was asking, what did I ask you when I saw you?
In another reality.
I said, is there a Secret Service with you?
Oh,
so, we know how to be, so I know how
there's
to be.
always security around. When OG's around, there's always security.
For real.
Let's talk about this play, The Inheritance, right? Based on the classic E.M. Forster novel, Howard's End, but it's relevant to today's society. It's an incredible two-part series here on Broadway. Give me a little more about what you do in this show.
Well, I play a guy called Henry Wilcox, who, if people are either familiar with the famous novel Howard's End or the movie with Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson, I'm basically Anthony Hopkins. Modern day, I'm a gay Republican billionaire. So, but it really is about 3 generations of gay men and their relationship to the AIDS crisis and the AIDS epidemic, and how a modern generation of young men who did not experience that, what their inheritance is from an earlier generation who suffered and fought for rights, and there are many groups of people in our society who who this is really relevant to, and it's just beautiful. It's hard to describe because it's an epic.
Oh, Dan has described
saga.
it. He's been talking about it nonstop.
It's extraordinary. Yeah, and Matthew Lopez, who wrote it, it's really. When I read it, I thought it was the best play I've read in 20 years. It really is.
And it's powerful. It's emotional. It's raw.
It's also very funny.
Yeah, well, it is
Thank
fun. Yes.
God. I was like, well, I cry because I like to laugh.
No,
so if I'm gonna laugh,
super entertaining. People scream with laughter.
You,
no, yeah, I mean, you're laughing and then you're crying,
right,
and then you're laughing again. So tell us about the idea of this being in 2 parts, right? So this is a new experience for me, seeing a play in 2 parts.
Yeah, I mean, as a theater goer, I love it. There are some classic examples, Angels in America, which is similar subject matter, but written at the height of the AIDS epidemic. But it's an American classic, as a 2-part thing. The first one I ever saw was a very famous production by the Royal Shakespeare Company called Nicholas Nickleby, based on the Dickens novel, and it's this kind of immersive theatrical experience where you just commit. And,
right.
It's like, I guess the thing I would equate it to is that people are now used to is binge watching a television show.
Yeah.
You start watching and you just cannot stop, and you want to keep going, and there's this kind of, whether it's Game of Thrones or The Inheritance.
Right. But as an actor, right? So don't say it. I used to think of myself as a stage actor back in high school. How do you memorize? These people don't even pay any attention to them.
Judgment.
How do you memorize the lines? I used to be told it was a blue highlighter, right? And it could help you memorize things. But when you're memorizing that many lines, how do you do it?
That doesn't do it.
Blue highlighter doesn't work?
He doesn't need it because he has talent, Dan.
No. I use the highlighter, but
I know.
That's only the beginning of the story. It's one of those things. It's a developed skill.
Yeah.
And, for me, it's more about really absorbing the play itself and what's underneath it. And if I start to understand that, then the lines start to stick. I can't just kind of cold memorize things, because then it's using sort of the wrong part of your brain.
Right.
So it's kind of an organic process, and you just get better at it. And
right, so
every night is terror that I'm.
Yeah.
I mean, I review my dialogue before every performance, every time, to make sure that my aging brain does not let me down.
Please, it's not aging at all. So when someone is as talented as you, is it easy to pick talent or spot talent? Because I know I can never sing, I can never do voiceover stuff, but maybe I could do like a little acting thing for you to tell me what you think of me.
Sure.
I'm gonna do a line in a movie that you may or may not know about. This is my favorite line from the movie. Molly, you in danger, girl.
You know what? Whoopi won an Academy Award for saying that line, and I think you did it just as well as her. Yeah.
What? He liked it. So you would cast me based on that?
100%.
You know what? You see what I did there, right, sir?
Yeah.
I know.
It's good. Always working.
I know.
Can we start a petition as a Broadway actor? What do you think of the idea that candy is sold in a theater where people are watching a show?
Drives me nuts.
Right.
I don't. It's up to the audience goer. Last night I was at the theater to see my friend Laura Linney's brilliant production of My Name is Lucy Barton. If you haven't seen it, rush to get it. It's incredible. Anyway, and there were people crinkling candy. Now, I wanted a piece of gum in the middle of the show, so here's what I did. I slipped my hand into my pocket. I really quietly removed the piece of gum from inside my pocket, slipped it in absolutely silently.
Because
but then the other thing, it's like there was a woman behind me, or a man, I'm not sure. I thought, I think whose cell phone went off. That's bad.
That's the
but
worst.
sometimes it happens. You're like, oh my God, I forgot to turn my phone off, which is bad enough. It rang 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
You're like, the first time they didn't shut it off. 5 minutes later, same ringer.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Did you say something?
No, because I would have disrupted the play if I had
It's
done
fine.
that.
You're the president. You can do whatever you want.
I just sent like vibes. I could have, but
Yeah, exactly.
that wouldn't have been
You need to
possible.
use your
Don't worry.
powers, Mr.
My
President.
theater partner, who will remain nameless, she's one of our producers. She turns around and says, "Are you kidding me?
Of course she does.
Are you kidding
with
me?"
you. I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Says it very nicely. Tony, stick around. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to chat more with you.
Great.
Can't wait.
I was at a show once when a woman.
Welcome back. We are with Tony Goldwyn, and I got to tell you, as a fan of Scandal, Mr. President, are you going to come back on television? Is the show going to make a comeback?
Scandal?
Yes. There's got to be
I
a
hate to break this
reboot.
to you. I don't think so.
Does it drive you crazy when everyone's like, "Hello, Mr. President, Mr.
Are you
President"?
kidding?
Mr.
No, he
President?
likes it.
I feel like
Likes
you're-
I love it.
I know.
Kidding? If I'm having a bad day and I walk down the street and someone's like, Mr. President, I'm like,
That's right.
Sorry, good. Just wanna make
better
sure.
now. I
You
don't
got a
know.
little pep in your
There was a
step.
tweet the other day that had 4 of the TV's presidents. You were one of them, and
Yeah.
people, they were asking people to vote. And you were in the lead last time I checked.
Really?
I'm telling you, yeah.
Oh, don't act like you don't know. I mean, come
Really?
on, you're so popular.
I honestly don't keep track of that stuff.
That's okay.
We
Big as
do.
my ego is.
We do.
you know,
Oh,
For you.
please. You know
only
what-
because I'm terrified of being like not number 1. So it's like number 4. My
were-
ratings have slipped.
I mean, it was. I'm sure you know this, but my wife and I were at a Nutcracker presentation at Lincoln Center, and we were like halfway through the show, and we looked at each other and go, "Do you want to go home seeing what's happening in Scandal right now?" I mean, Nutcracker, see what's happening. What do you think Olivia Pope's doing right now?
I mean, it was appointment viewing.
Yes.
One of the best
It was
presidents
a
ever.
fun
Yeah.
show.
I
Do you ever
mean,
think you'd do a show on Broadway with Kerry Washington?
Oh, well, God, I'd love to, yeah.
Because she's been doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did American Son last year, and we were on Broadway at the same time. I was doing Network, and she was in American Son.
Right.
And her husband's in a soldier's play.
Yes,
so it's like a
Namdi,
family
Soldier's
affair.
Play is wonderful. It hasn't closed yet. If you
No, it
haven't
hasn't
seen
in March.
the Soldier's Play, it's really wonderful, and Namdi's
I
great.
always wonder about actors when they play such intimate characters, right? Do they stay close off the air? I mean, are you guys still close?
Yeah, it's sort of, our lives are always going in different directions.
Right.
Scandal we're particularly close, more than any other job I've ever done.
Right.
We talk every day pretty much. We have like a
Really?
text chain, and we make
Yeah.
sure we see each other regularly.
That's awesome.
And
You
yeah,
post
it's-
birthday messages when it's people's birthdays.
Today's
they come
Bellamy
see
Young's
you.
birthday.
There you
I
go.
wished her happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Carrie's birthday
Yeah.
was a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh,
So we-
remember your
Birthday
family.
was 2 days,
2 days
ago.
ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
President.
Hey,
Happy
thank
birthday
you for.
to
I know it's a
me.
tough schedule, so thank you for waking up early and coming
Pleasure,
in.
yeah.
I will send you to your green room a pack of blue highlighters.
Okay, there you go.
You can see more of Tony Goldwyn in The Inheritance at the Ethel Barrymore Theater. He is in it through April 19th. Highly, highly recommend.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Don't miss
Thanks,
it.